Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be another installment in my true crime series, focusing on one of the most notorious criminal cases in history, particularly shocking because it involves both a child perpetrator and child victims. This is the story of 11-year-old Mary Bell. I'm sure most of you watching are already familiar with this case. There's countless material about it: articles, documentaries, and films in multiple languages. Despite this, it's the topic I receive the most requests for. I keep a long list of all the cases you suggest in comments and messages, and this one sits right at the top. A troubled beginning. Mary Bell was born on May 26, 1957, in Newcastle upon Tyne, in northern England. Her mother, Betty McCricket, was just 17 when she gave birth. Mary's biological father remains unknown, though Betty claimed he was her boyfriend at the time, Billy Bell, whose surname Mary would carry. Betty worked as a prostitute and was largely absent from her daughter's life. What's most disturbing is that during Mary's early years, Betty repeatedly attempted to kill her own child. Family members grew alarmed by the number of accidents Mary suffered. Betty would give her sleeping pills, even attempting to throw her from windows. She was once caught, red-handed, mixing tablets with Mary's candy. These repeated incidents caused permanent brain damage to Mary, particularly to her frontal cortex, the area responsible for planning and understanding consequences. This damage likely contributed significantly to Mary's later behavior. A childhood of neglect. From around age 2, Mary was left unsupervised on the streets while her mother worked. She lived in a dangerous neighborhood and would often remain outside until late evening, waiting for Betty to return. Betty showed no interest in her daughter's well-being. If Mary had simply disappeared, it would have been convenient for her. When Mary was older, she revealed that from age 4, her mother forced her to provide sexual services to men. At school, Mary was known for her volatile temper and aggression, clearly stemming from her trauma and brain damage. She had no close friends except for one, Norma, a neighbor girl who was 22 months older, but whom Mary easily dominated and manipulated. The violence escalates. In 1968, when Mary was 11 and Norma was 13, their innocent games turned sinister. On May 11th, while playing together, they encountered a 3-year-old boy and offered to take him for a walk. Minutes later, adults found him walking down the street with a bloody head. The girls had taken him to an abandoned area and pushed him off a wall. Though he was hospitalized, no serious injuries occurred, and remarkably, no action was taken against Mary and Norma. The very next day, Mary attacked 3 other young girls playing nearby, attempting to strangle them. According to Norma, Mary said, "I wonder if someone dies when you strangle them." One girl nearly lost consciousness before help arrived. Again, the girls received only a warning. The first murder. On May 25th, exactly one day before Mary's 11th birthday, 4-year-old Martin Brown was playing with friends near abandoned buildings. Around 3:15 p.m., his friends found him lying motionless on his back inside one of these buildings. When Martin's mother arrived, she noticed her son's skin was gray and cold to the touch. He was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. Police found empty pain medication packaging near the body and initially ruled it an accidental overdose. However, the community was terrified and parents began keeping their children indoors. Mary was seen near the building, where crowds had gathered. She and Norma even tried to enter the building, but were stopped. Later, they visited Martin's aunt to inform her of the accident, with Mary smiling throughout. Over the following days, Mary continuously harassed Martin's family members, asking painful questions about whether they missed him and if they were crying. Most macabre was her visit to Martin's mother a few days later. She knocked on the door, asking if she could see Martin. When told he was dead, Mary laughed and asked if she could see him in his coffin. The mother, understandably disturbed, told her never to return. Breaking and entering. 2 days later, police were called to a local nursery that had been vandalized. 4 notes were left behind. One read, "I murder so that I may come back." Others contained vulgar language calling police officers cowards, and another was a confession to murdering Martin Brown. Police dismissed these as pranks. On the same day, Mary was in school writing a story assignment. She described finding Martin's body and the crowd that gathered, adding a disturbing drawing at the bottom. A body on the ground next to a man, with a small bottle labeled "tablets" nearby. This was a detail only known to those present at the scene. Yet Mary hadn't been allowed inside the building. The second murder. On July 31st, 1969, Mary, Norma, and several other children were playing outside. They were seen playing with 3-year-old Brian Howe. That evening, Brian's family reported him missing. His body was discovered that same night. This time, there was no doubt it was murder. Brian had multiple stab wounds, and the letter M had been carved into his abdomen with scissors. The autopsy revealed he died from strangulation. The wounds were inflicted after death. Police finally connected this to Martin Brown's death, realizing both boys had fallen victim to the same killer. Justice and aftermath. Throughout both investigations, Mary and Norma's names kept surfacing. They were always present, participating in searches and questioning police and families. Finally, a witness came forward who had seen Mary lure Brian away, with Norma present. The girls were arrested, and handwriting analysis confirmed the nursery notes matched theirs. Mary's school story and drawing were also discovered. During the trial in November 1968, they accused each other. Mary admitted to writing the notes, but claimed it was a joke. Psychiatric evaluation determined Mary was a psychopath. Due to her age, she couldn't be sentenced for murder, but was found guilty of manslaughter. She reportedly said, while in custody, that there was nothing wrong with killing, everyone dies anyway. Because of her young age, Mary couldn't be sent to prison or a psychiatric hospital. Instead, she was placed in a reform school. She escaped at age 20, but was recaptured and transferred to another facility. She was released after serving 12 years, deemed no longer a threat to society. Life after prison. Mary was given a new identity and 4 years later gave birth to a daughter on May 25, 1984, exactly 16 years to the day after her first murder. Her daughter knew nothing of her mother's past until age 14, when their location was discovered by the press. Mary won a court case granting both her and her daughter lifelong anonymity. Today, she is reportedly a grandmother, though few details of her current life are known. Conclusion. This case remains one of the most disturbing examples of childhood violence in criminal history. Mary's story shows how neglect, abuse, and trauma can create monsters, but also raises difficult questions about justice, rehabilitation, and whether some people can truly change. The combination of her traumatic upbringing, brain damage from repeated abuse, and possible psychopathic tendencies created a perfect storm that resulted in tragedy for 2 innocent children and their families. Thank you for watching today's video. If you found this case as fascinating and disturbing as I do, please subscribe for more true crime content. Let me know in the comments what other cases you'd like me to cover, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.